Okay, let's start. Okay, let's discuss the basic DBMS interview question. So expect this question at the beginning of technical interviews. They just test the fundamental understanding of the database management system. Interviewer just ask these questions to see whether you understand the core database concept before moving for the complex scenario. They are looking for the clear explanation and practical example that so that you are working, not just memorize the definition. So starting with the basic question as a simply asking what is database. So what is database management system. So what you have to the expected answer you have to say uh, a DBMS, a database management system, is a software that manages the database. It handles the storing, retrieving, and organizing the data while ensuring the security and consistency. Okay, think of the middleman between your application and the actual data. Middleman between actual your application and the actual data file. Popular example is MySQL, Postgres, Oracle, and SQL Server. DBMS handle the task like authentication, data backup, make sure the multiple user can access the data without corrupting it. So simply here we make a flow chart through which you understand the basic workflow. So actually it is a software. It is a software. Okay. So slow typing software for what the uses. After that you have to tell that it manage what database software that manages the databases for handling what handling storing storing retrieving and organizing the datas. Okay. So DBMS is database management system is a software that manages the database handling organizing the data and ensuring the security on organizing security and consistency. Okay, these are the key feature of the database management system. So as I told that it is okay, let me change the color of this title. Okay, changes. So so think as a middleman between your application. It act as a middleman between your between applications between application and the data and actual data. It is a between a middleman between the application and the actual data. Okay, actual data and the file. Database management system software manages and database for the handling, storing, retrieving, organizing, and data security, and act as a middleman between the application and the data. So one of the famous and famous famous not famous some of the example of database. All the DBMS systems are MySQL, MySQL, Post, Postgres SQL. Okay. After that, SQL server, and the Oracle servers. All are this. Okay. These are the basic understanding of the database is like this. Okay. Whenever the interviewer asks this question, first of all, explain it is a software. It manages the databases, handling, storing, retrieving, organizing the data, security, and consistency. For extra terms, we have to add that this point. It acts as a middleman between the app server and Oracle server. Okay. Let's move forward for the next question. What is the difference between the database and DBMS? So this one is a nice question. What is database? Database versus DBMS. DBMS. Okay. So database and DBMS. So database consists of so database. What is database? Database contain your tables, record, and relationship. And the DBMS provide a tool and the interface to interact with the data. It is like the difference between a library and the that help you to find librarian system that help you to find and check out the books. So database are actually the tables and record. DBS is a platform which provided tools to interact with the database. So I simply write database as a example wise library, library, and whereas DBMS is a librarian system. Okay, librarian system. Okay, that help to provide an interface to interact with the data. Okay, let's move forward for the one of the important question. Every time they ask before asking the DBMS question, explain the acid property in the database transaction. So acid property. So let me write acid properties. Okay, so acid property is like this. So acid property. So acid principle makes sure the database transactions are reliable and maintain the data integrity. And A stand for atomicity, C stand for consistency, I stand for isolation, D stand for durability. So acids, A stand for atomicity, which means that all the operation in the transaction occur. If fail, then if occur all the operation in the transaction succeeded or failed together. If a transaction happened, if succeeded, all the things succeeded at a time. If they are fail, all the data or the transaction fail at a time. Yeah, all or nothing. Okay. Consistency. This means that data remain valid according to the defined rule. This means that before the transaction, after the transaction, the data remains same. Okay. Isolation means that concurrent transaction doesn't interface each other. This means that if a two person do the transaction, their transaction do not interfere with each other. Okay. Durability means committed change survive even after the system crashes. The transaction survive even the system crashes. Okay. So A stands for atomicity. In simple term, atomicity. In simple term, we said all or nothing. Okay. After the C stands for the consistency. Consistency. This means that data remains same, even remains same. Data remains same. Data remain same before and after. Before and after. Okay. I stand for the isolation. I stands for the isolation. Okay. Isolation mean uh, concurrent. This means that con concurrent transaction does not interfere each other. Okay. D stands for durability. 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 This means that uh, committed changes survive even after system crashes. Committed change survive even the system crashes. Okay. So this is all about the asset principle. So asset principle make sure the database transaction is reliable and maintain data integrity. And here is the everyday example. When you make money between the transfer money between banks account, Both the debit and credit must happen together. This means that atomicity. Total balance rules stay valid. Consistency. Other transaction does not see the partial state. This means isolation. Things happen and the changes persist even the system crashes. This stands for durability. Okay. After that, so after all three questions, the important question is that what are the different type of database keys? So different type of database keys. Most ignored question, but it is important for the interview. Different different types of different types of database and database keys. Okay, let's say different type of database key. So database keys are used for uniquely identify the record, establish a relationship, and here are the types of you need to know. So database keys are the uniquely identify the records and establish a relationship between data. So one of the example, all the keys are as follow. Keys, primary key, primary key. After that, foreign key, candidate key, foreign key, candidate key, candidate keys, candidate keys. Okay, composite key, composite key, and unique key. Check live. So database keys are used to uniquely identify the records and the first of all the primary key. So uniquely identify each row has a uniqueness provided by each row through the primary key. Okay, cannot be null or duplicate. Okay, foreign key is just a referential key, a primary key in another table, a primary key in another table. Okay, candidate key any column that could serve as a primary key. Candidate key is any key which serve as a primary key is known as candidate key. After that, composite key, composite primary key made of multiple columns. Composite key is a primary key that made from the multiple columns known as a composite key. And the unique key ensure the uniqueness but allow one null value. Uniqueness, uniqueness but allow one null value. Okay. Candidate key is a unique one but do not allow any null value. Can't can't be null or duplicate. Okay. Okay, foreign key मतलब referential key to the referential key is a references to primary key of other table. Primary keys of other table. Okay, candidate key is the column that could serve as a primary key. Any column that serve as a primary key. Okay, after that a composite key is a primary key made of multiple column. A primary key made up made of multiple columns. Okay, these are the different types of key and databases keys and their definition. For a simple example, we have to make a SQL code. So here is the SQL code through which we understand all the keys. So uh, create create table, create table, employee employees. So employee underscore id, employee and int primary key. This employee id is a primary key, so int primary key. Okay, this one is primary key. Department id int. Okay, and email varchar of 10 size of unique. This means unique. Okay, this must be unique. Foreign key through the foreign key of department ID of reference to departments. Okay, this is a primary example through which you understand all the keys, real life examples. Okay, so so after that we have to know about next question. What is normalization and why is it good? Why is it good? Okay, so normalization. Let's change the color. So normalization, normalization, and why? Okay, so let's discuss why normalization is good. So normalization eliminate the data redundancy. Okay, this means that data repetition, data duplication is deleted through the normalization by organizing the data into the separate or related table. Okay, so reduce the data redundancy. Okay, by which process? By organizing organizing in separate or related table or related tables. Okay, it prevent the data inconsistency and save this storage space. Okay, it prevent for data inconsistency and save the storage space. Here how the main normal form save and storage space, prevent the data inconsistency. What are the features? Prevent the data inconsistency incons data inconsistency and the save storage space. Okay, different type of normal form we have to study, different type of normal form. So let's discuss the different type of normal form, the types of normal form, types of normal form. Okay, types of normal form. mm, is it typos? Okay, first is 1NF, 2NF, 2NF, 3NF. After that BCNF, all the things happen in 1NF form. The uniqueness is needed. So let's discuss 1NF form. Is each column contain an atomic value. Each column can contain an atomic value. Okay, 1NF form value. No list multiple value, single cell. To enable it must be in 1NF form and remove the partial. It must be in 1NF form and remove the partial dependency. No key column must depend on the entire primary key, not just a part. It applies when you have a composite key and if you have a table with student ID, course ID as a primary key, and a student name should not be in the table because it only depend on the student ID, not on both keys. Okay, so it does not have a transitive dependencies. So explain the difference between delete, drop, and truncate. Delete, drop, and truncate. So delete, drop, and truncate value. So delete, drop, and truncate value. Let's see the delete, drop, and truncate value. So explain the difference between delete, drop, and truncate. So let's see. Let's see. Delete, delete, drop, and get value and truncate. So delete standard removing the specific row as and can be rolled back. Okay, delete from employee. For example, you have to write code. Delete one. Delete. Delete code SQL code. Here is the SQL code for delete. So delete from employee where department underscore ID is equal to department ID is equal to 5. So this means that this command remove this specific row and can be rolled back. So after that, truncate, in which truncate, truncate, truncate remove all the rows but keep the table structure faster than delete. So delete all the rows. So truncate, truncate table employee. Okay. So it remove all the rows but the table structure remains same. After that, drop, drop. So drop remove the entire table and its structure. Drop table remove. When you write drop table employee, it means that it remove all the table and structures. Okay. So there is a difference between delete, truncate, and drop. So let's move for the next question. What is the difference between inner and outer join? So inner join and outer join. So difference between inner join and the outer join. So what does it mean? Let's see through the codes. So inner join return all the matching records from the board table. What it return? Matching tables from the matching records. Sorry, matching records record from both table. Okay, tables. Okay. So how we write? Select e dot name from employee table and d dot department name. Okay, from where? From employee employee as a e employee as a e inner join department as a d on e dot department id is equal to d dot department id. Okay, department id. So it return the all the matching record from the both the table. So this one is a inner join. So next code for the outer join. Join include both matching and both non-matching records. So it it include both non-matching 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 record. Okay. So we have join left join mean all the record from the left table matching from the right table and matching from the this one left table full and matching records of right table. Okay. Similarly in right table all the records from the right table but the matching part from the left table. Full outer join mean all the record from the both table are there. SQL complex is okay. So the next technical term asked in the DBMS is what is index? So what is index and how it improve the performance performance. Okay. So an index is a data structure that speed up the data retrieval by creating a shortcut to the tables and to tables row. Okay. Actually, it is a data structure which help to speed up the searching speed and data retrieval inside a table. Think of like a book index instead of reading the every page to find the topic. You look it up and jump directly in the table's right page. Indexes make us select queries faster, but slow down the insert, update, and delete of because it's index and need updating. So let's index. What is index? Index is a so index is a data structure DS for the fast retrieval searching. Okay, searching things, and it create a shortcut to the tables row. It create just like creating the shortcut creating the shortcuts. Okay, shortcuts in the database. Real example that having the indexes in the page to find any specific topic in a book is similar. So the finding and data retrieval portion is very fast, but the updating, inserting, and deleting portion is a little bit slow. So explain the concept of views in the databases. Views. What do you mean by views? So let's discuss views. Mm, A view is a virtual table created from the SQL query that doesn't store data itself. Views mean that it is a virtual table, virtual virtual table created in SQL, and query that does not store data itself. So it does not. So it does not store the the data itself. Okay. So data itself. So views simplify the complex query, provide a security by hiding the sensitive columns, and present data in different format. When you query a view, the database execute the underlying SQL and return the result as it appear in the real part. So simplify the complex query and provide the security for hiding the sensitive detail in the columns. So what are the stored procedure and their advantage? Stored procedure are the pre-compiled SQL code and stored in a database that you can execute by the names. They improve the performance of the performance because they pre-compile and reduce the network traffic procedure. Okay, so we completed all the basics question. We completed all the basics question of the SQL. So we move forward to the intermediate interview question after this session. So thank you for this session. Bye bye.